Hey, welcome to my page, 1428 Financial Wellness. It's your boy, the financial facilitator, Dondreá Brown. If this is your first time looking at my video, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be bringing you some really good information. But before I begin, I want to start with our topic for today. We're going to be talking about 5 side hustles that you can master during and coming out of a pandemic. Check us out. Hey, welcome to my page again. This is the financial facilitator, Dondreá Brown. What I wanted to do in this video is really talk about side hustles, right? When we look at unemployment, the unemployment rate is steady declining. So that means that people are really looking for jobs, especially coming out of the pandemic. But how can you leverage your time during this coming out of this pandemic? I tell people with side hustles. So for myself, I have about 3 reliable side hustles that I use to bring in extra income, whether it's making sure that I invest in my stocks, making sure that I pay extra bills, or making sure I'm saving toward just having fun. These side hustles can help you accomplish those. But first, let's think about what a side hustle is, right? A side hustle allows you to leverage your time in a space that is more controllable for you, right? So if you have a 9 to 5 and you're like, hey, I want to make some extra money, maybe you work after 5 o'clock for a couple hours and bring in some additional income. Another thing a side hustle can do is it can allow you to have multiple side hustles, right? So typically when you have a 9 to 5, that takes up a lot of time. So how can you leverage time around that and carry different side hustles so that you're always in a position where you can make money? So what I want people to understand is with side hustles, they take work, right? This isn't a get rich quick situation where you're like, hey, I'll go deliver food and I'll make a lot of money. But let's jump into our first side hustle. The first side hustle is food delivery. When we look at coming out of the pandemic, there are a lot of places and people who are still not going out socially, right? So they'll prefer to order their food. That's a great time for you to sign up for places like DoorDash or places like Uber. Sign up for a food delivery place so that you can maximize that time. One great thing about having food delivery is if you're in a situation while you're waiting on that food, right? If you have these other side hustles that I'll talk about soon, maybe you can work on those side hustles. It's always a good opportunity to think about some of the trending needs of a population and environment, and then work a side hustle because you know those things are in high demand. Another side hustle would be an online business, right? This is my favorite. When I first started my business, I wasn't completely online. People were saying like, you have to become more virtual. I'm like, I don't know. But since then, the last few months, it has really helped me gain more income, expand my market, and more importantly, understand that my business is something that's valued in this time. So you can start an online business. I know a lot of people are like, where do I start? How do I begin? The first place to start with online businesses is, one, think about a problem that you're trying to solve, and also think about something that you're good at, right? So if you're trying to solve a problem, you can typically monetize that problem, right? Profit from that problem. Or if you're in a position where you're good at something, maybe you are really good at art, or maybe you're good at teaching someone something that you've learned over time, then you can start to turn that into a business. You can file an LLC, you can test your market, and then you can shift it online. That's a really great side hustle for people because, again, it allows you to maximize your time, and then look at different times where you may be looking at Netflix. You may be waiting for the NBA or NFL to start. You may be in a position where you're like, man, I really want to maximize that time. Another one is selling homemade items for profit, right? Some of you are really good at creating things, right? And you typically just put it up on the shelf, or you probably like throw it in a garage. What you can do is you can sell it online. You can sell it on places like Facebook Marketplace. You never know who's looking for some particular art, right? One of the common things that I see on the internet right now is selling t-shirts, right? You have people who are creating these t-shirts that are based on some of the themes like your Black Lives Matter, or even your shirts that talk about God is dope, things like that. You can buy you a print machine and then start to sell some of those items online, which is a great side hustle because we know people like to stay fashionable and they love what they wear. This side hustle that I'm about to talk about hit me the last couple days because I've been getting a lot of inquiries from people interested in trying to do this work. But landscaping, right? Landscaping, not like your super high landscaping where you're taking out chunks of dirt and you're putting in a water fountain, but some of your simple landscaping, right? Like trimming bushes, cutting grass, things like that. That's huge right around this time. First of all, it's the summertime, right? And people are really trying to get their gardens and everything right. But also, there are more people who need that kind of work done because they're probably in a position where they're like, I'm not trying to do it, right? So what you can do is you can purchase a lawnmower, purchase you some equipment, and start to do the work. Landscaping is a great opportunity. I know for me, I pay, and I have paid, a decent amount of money to have people landscape my family's yards. And just thinking about if I shift that or if someone shift that to do it themselves, they can profit from that money. And then you get a consistent group of people you can do it for. And now you have income coming in on a weekly or monthly basis. So landscaping is another great thing you can do. The final side hustle, which I think is really major at this time, being a virtual assistant, right? Also known as a VA. I know when I first started my business, I didn't know what a virtual assistant was. I was like, what can they do for me? But I found that virtual assistants are really huge for startup businesses, as well as businesses who are trying to pay next to nothing for, not trying to pay for a full-time person, right? So with a virtual assistant, you can make anywhere from $12 to $30 an hour, right? But what you'll be doing is you'll be assisting startups. You'll be assisting people who really need some of their needs met, whether it's in marketing, whether it's in sales, whether it's in basic emails. Virtual assistants are starting to become a huge trend, especially when we're thinking about the social distancing, right? Not being able to work very close to people, but instead be in a space where you can work online. Another great thing about a virtual assistant is you kind of give them what you need, right? So if you are a virtual assistant, you'll take in that information and you can decide how you assist that business. So remember, virtual assistants is very good for startup entrepreneurs. One of the things you can do is look for people look for Facebook groups who are starting businesses and say, hey, what are some of your needs? And then how much are you willing to pay for those needs? And those things are typically great. So what I'll do is I'll leave in the comment section, again, a few links to learning more about some of these things, but I highly encourage people to consider side hustles. Again, with the unemployment rate steady declining, you have to be able to balance whatever your 9 to 5 is if you have one, but also many different side hustles. Also, what I'll be doing is throughout the next couple weeks, I'll be giving a list of more side hustles and becoming more detailed of how you can leverage those. Again, for myself, I have 3 solid side hustles that allows me to meet some of my financial needs, because I always want to position myself to make money from different streams. So side hustles really helps me accomplish that. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, hit the like button. And again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm excited to bring you this information. I'm your financial facilitator. You have a great day. For more information about how to save, manage, and grow your money, click that subscribe button below.